I am Michelle, and I'm here to share with you today one of my most favorite goddesses. She is provocative, she is tantalizing, she is sensuous, sexy, and she marries the holy with the erotic. She is Lalita Tripura Sundari. She is more beautiful in the three worlds. Another name for her is just Lalita, she who plays. And she reminds us that pleasure is a portal for our awakening that is delightful, that is pleasurable. And yet, so many of us have been told to suppress this energy, to be scared of this energy. And I'm going to share with you some stories of the Lalita archetype, where her teachings are your living, breathing body. They cannot be logically analysed, or the doing doesn't get her. She is in the subtle realm. And to awaken the Lalita Shakti, the invitation is to nurture a larger vision of who you are, so that the vision that you see of you as she is exactly like her imagery. And the Lalita Sahasranama, which is the 1,000 names of a Lalita, comes from the Brahmanda Purana, which is a history of the universe. And there are many layers to this. There are many Shaktis. There are the different archetypes. And they just share the different aspects of us as women. And so this is part of my Goddess Empowerment series, where I've shared some videos on the other goddesses. But Lalita I have been teaching for probably the last 5 years, and ultimately every class has an aspect of Lalita because I teach the feminine tantra practices. And so let's look into some of her imagery and her myths and the metaphors of these, because every layer, every aspect of the story is revealing the layers of your spiritual awakening, your evolution. And so Lalita's imagery is highly provocative. She is sat upon a throne in sexual union with Shiva. And holding this throne of their sexual union is 4 other gods: Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and Rudra, the fierce aspect of Shiva. There is a potent key here, is that the masculine is present. The masculine is lifting the feminine, empowering, helping her to rise in her aliveness. And so as we look at the men lifting Lalita up, we look at the masculine frequency energy within us. The masculine is our presence, our awareness, our consciousness. So the contemplation is, how present are you in your erotic aliveness? And so in this story, as the 4 gods are lifting Shiva and Lalita up, they realize they're turning into women. And they start giggling and start laughing, and they're very embarrassed that they're turning into women. And then they look upon Lalita. She's mesmerizing, she's beautiful, she's so erotically alive. And they look into her left little toenail and they see the whole of the universe within her little left toenail. The nails in the next story as well, you are going to see, are very symbolic. It's showing that we have everything at our disposal already within our fingertips, our toenails. Even the mundane has the erotic present. How do we bring this alive? Lalita was called upon to bring Shiva alive. When Shiva's first wife died, Parvati was called upon to awaken Shiva. And Kama, the god of desire and love, was asked to aim a flowery arrow at Shiva to awaken him, to bring him back into life, to be with Parvati. But in that story, what happened is Shiva, as the arrow pierced him, and he started to awaken, and his erotic began to awaken. He knew something was up because he was the meditator. He was away in the Himalayas just meditating all the time. And he saw Kama, and from his third eye, the fire just thunderbolted out and destroyed Kama to ash. Of course, everyone was in uproar and so upset because Kama, the god of desire and love, has just been burned to ash. And they begged Shiva, please, please, please bring Kama back to life. But Kama, in his anger for being awake, brought back a demon of love and desire from the ash. His name was Bandha. He's like, good, good, Bandha. And Bandha emerged, and he's the distorted form of love and desire. He's also the distortion, the rejection of Shiva for the feminine. He didn't want to be awakened because he was in grief for his first wife's death. So just remember Bandha, the demon. And so now Bandha's causing havoc, and the gods realize, we need to do something else. We need to call upon the feminine again, but not just any aspect of the feminine. We need to call upon the most holy and erotic feminine to save the day, to restore sacred sexuality. And so they have a fire ritual, this big ceremony to call upon Lalita. And remember here, the big ask. We need to call the feminine in. She needs to be asked. She remains hidden like the yoni is hidden. And what is birthed is in that dark void of the womb. And so they have the fire ritual, and the fire is the kindling of our Kundalini Shakti. Lalita is felt, if you like, in our Kundalini Shakti rising within our body, awakening each lotus and rising up. And one of the ways to do this, or to practice this, is sexual union. So, back to the story. The gods are having a fire ritual, and emerging from the fire is Lalita in all of her radiance, her luminosity. She is so beautiful, so sensuous, and everyone is just in awe of her beauty. And she's rising and rising, and she's just being herself. She takes on her assignment to restore sexual energy that doesn't make us unconscious because we've been told that we have to act or do or be a certain way because we're too emotional or too impulsive. Or to embrace our Lalita Shakti, we are asked to go into the great mystery to soften, to be, to enjoy the movement of her within our living, breathing body. So let me share the last little story about Lalita. Remembering Bandha. Bandha goads Lalita all the time. He's saying, who are you? What is your superpower? What do you know? And Lalita would take this goading all the time and never react, because Lalita is resting in her Shakti, in her erotic aliveness that is awakening her. And so one day, Bandha is goading her, asking her the questions, and Lalita thinks, I think I'll paint my fingernails. I'm going to paint them red. And so, well, she's Lalita, so her nail technicians come along and paint her nails. And as they're painting her nails, Lalita begins to blow them dry, looking at Bandha. And as she blows her fingernails, emerging from them is the Dasa Mahavidyas, the 10 wisdom goddesses. And they surround Bandha and he disappears. Lalita smiles. This is my superpower. And so Lalita is asking you to remain present in your beauty, in your awakening feminine Shakti, in your softness that is sensuous, that is glowing, that is alive and deliciously erotic and holy. And so bringing the right and the left, the Shiva, the Shakti, the Shiva and the Lalita in holy divine union before your heart. And we bow to the Lalita Shakti.